Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel. So today's video, we're going to talk about the New York State Reparation Bill. I don't know where else to go with that other than like, this is not going to work the way they think it is. And the craziness about it is that these people are looking at California as the example. Look at what's going on in California. Look how the state is breaking down. They're in financial woes. They are in debt. And yet, New York politicians, Democrats, are looking at California and go, look, they're leading the way. Gives a shit. It's not going to work out the way you think it is. It is not going to change what you think it's going to change. Now, the idea of this reparation comes from the 40 acres and a mule. The U.S. government promised African Americans at that time 40 acres and a mule. They didn't offer black Americans at that time and in the future, just at that time. Those who were actual slaves, those who were being freed, those who were suffering at that time. At no point in time in that contract was, well, it's also for future Negroes that grow up here in the United States. No, that wasn't the case. Nonetheless, I do see people's point with, yes, it was a broken contract that should have been fulfilled. I understand that. But we are not that. The deal was with our ancestors at that moment, in that time period, not future. So again, for us to get something that we didn't deserve, first of all, we did not work for, we didn't go through the hardships that they went through. That's like the first point of it. The second point of it is the amount of money that it would take to pay us out, individuals, would bankrupt the country. Now, seemingly, it looks like that the federal government is letting each state handle this. So you're probably going to see it in other states as well. You're not just going to see it here. You're probably going to see it in Michigan as well, Illinois, maybe I doubt you'll see it in Texas, but who knows? Maybe a city in Texas. New York and a couple other places are going to follow suit. I don't understand how people don't understand how money works. You can't just print money up because you got a printing press in this country and go, guys, we're going to need probably about $7 billion worth of fucking money just to pay these people off. Now, the New York State Reparation Bill, as of right now, is just a bill to form a committee to investigate and or do research on what the proper amount is to pay the individual African American out. Now, I don't know if they're going to pay the individual person, which would make no sense, and put the state in more debt, or they're going to do it per household. So now, if they do it per household, I could see this slick move with married couples getting divorced so that they can separate and have two households and get double that money. I can see that happening as well. Again, there's going to be so many slick things going on behind this. That's another video for another day. But the fact that people are playing this card that they don't deserve. I'm sorry. If my grandfather was still alive, he would get that money. I would, and not for nothing. Maybe my grandfather wouldn't get, not maybe, he wouldn't get it because my grandfather wasn't born here. He was born in Dominica. My mother's side is Puerto Rican, right? So West Indian, Puerto Rican, that's me. So I wouldn't even apply for this. Even if I could, I still wouldn't apply for it. Though the money is tempting. What they're planning to give out in Texas, California, because Texas is turning into California. Sorry to say that. Some people are like, no, it's not. Sort of is. But anyway, so that's another video for another day. California is planning to hand out over $200,000 per eligible person. Again, I don't know what's going to make you eligible. I don't know how they're going to determine whether or not you have lineage here in the United States. In the United States with slavery. I don't know how they're going to make that connection. The only way I can think they're doing that is doing that 23andMe bullshit, which I tell people all the time. Do not do those ancestry tests. They're a fucking ploy to collect DNA. That's another video for another day. That's the only way I can see them doing this. Now here in New York, guys, again, the committee they're setting up, they want to find out what's the appropriate amount of money to pay out ancestors. That would be African Americans that are alive today. Now, 230 something thousand dollars, again, I don't know if that's going to be taxed. I could see them taxing that. And I can also see them writing it in the bill, no taxes. I can definitely see that. You know why? Because somebody's going to be slick enough and go, well, there wasn't really taxes when they were going to give them the 40 acres and a mule, so why should they tax us now? I could see that bullshit going out, and them trying to write that in the bill or whatever finding or study they come out with here in New York. Again, I don't know California if the people who are eligible for this are going to pay taxes on it. Who knows? And if they don't, more bullshit's going to happen out of it. Now you're really going to piss off a lot of Americans who are not eligible for it. You're going to piss off a lot of Americans who are trying to figure out why should they get reparations. What about my people? The Irish were treated like shit, not like slaves. Before you Irish folks out there go, we were slaves too. No, the fuck you weren't. So cut that bullshit out. But nonetheless, you were treated like shit too. The Polish were treated like shit when they got here. The Italians were treated like shit when they got here. Chinese, Japanese, Puerto Ricans, and so on were treated like shit when they came to this country. It was almost like a rite of passage to be treated like shit before you became a citizen. Nonetheless, guys, are all those people going to ask for reparations for the jobs they missed, for the way they were treated? Now, some people are going to be like, the Germans gave the Jews reparations. That's in fucking Germany. And no, the United States did not give Jewish people reparations for what happened in Germany. That was the Germans. The Japanese got reparations for being thrown in internment camps. That's a little different. If I'm not mistaken, they paid, I don't know if they paid the Japanese families that were here or they paid the Japanese government. That, I couldn't decipher the two and I couldn't find anything. If somebody could find something for me on that, I would appreciate it, just because I want to know about it for myself. But again, guys, this is the more important thing about this reparation. This is not going to change a fucking thing in the black community. Not one thing. Gangs are not going to stop ganging. People are not going to stop being fucking assholes. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. This money's not going to make you better. This money's going to have you be more irresponsible, because in the black community, a lot of people in the black community are irresponsible with their money, including myself. But that's just a me thing. But again, we are irresponsible with money. That being said, like I said to a lady online, who never got back to me, by the way, about having this debate, I said that there's one way to handle it, and that's giving people the opportunity to attend the class, to know what they can do with this money, to better invest it, better put it in better places, buy a home, invest it somewhere. Don't go out and get a fucking car, gold chains, and new sneakers and clothes. Do something with it, you know. And that would be the my advice for the reparations committee, is start something for people where they can learn how to be responsible with their money, fiscally responsible with their money. That's probably more important with this whole mess going on, if it's going to happen. Now, I would rather it not happen, but if it does happen, that should be a training course or a seminar that they can sit in and learn how to be a little more responsible. But as far as changing the black community, as far as paying back the black community, it'll pay us back. It'll pay the black community back, and then what? It won't change shit. Now, will it change some lives? Absolutely it will. There are some people out there, responsible people, who will take this money and do the right fucking thing. They'll take this money and they'll invest it. They'll take this money and they'll put it into a high yield savings account. They'll do something with this money so that it can make money for them. That is a responsible thing to do, but not nearly enough of that responsible. Not nearly enough. So it's going to create a problem in the black community, and you guys will see it when it happens. Now, will it also cause racial divide or further racial divide? I think so. I think that some people are going to be jealous, because that is fucking human nature. Human nature to be jealous. The Dominicans, the neighborhood here, they're going to be jealous. Puerto Ricans, they're probably going to be jealous. Well, why do those Negroes get to get X, Y, and Z? Right? So it's going to cause a lot of problems, and then you're probably going to see some crime spike as well, because motherfuckers will be getting robbed for their shit when they start buying outlandish shit that they don't fucking need. But again, that's a different fucking story altogether. I just don't think this is going to work the way they think it is. These people are thinking emotionally and not rationally, and that's the problem with Democrats and Republicans, but more Democrats. Democrats are more emotional, and they're like, we have to pay them what they're owed. And then what? And then what happens next? You're willing to put the state in debt to pay fucking people who weren't there some shit that they don't deserve because a contract that was broken with their ancestors? Because in that case, guys, everybody around the world should get reparations because some fucking contract somewhere in the world with some group of people was broken. Hell, what about me? Why can't I get reparations for being forced to retire, for not getting other jobs because I didn't get the arm ticket? Where's my reparations for that? The reparations is Pandora's box. You're going to open up a box and you're going to see a ton of shit. Now, real quick, guys, California is going to shell out about $560 billion. $560 billion to people who are eligible for reparations. One senator or one politician, Taylor something or another, whatever this asshole's name is, she states that that wasn't enough. That $238,000 or $239,000 per eligible person wasn't enough. So again, back to my question: what is enough? Is $1 billion enough per person? Is $500,000 enough per person? Is $600,000? Is $1 million per person enough? What is enough? That is the main question. And if you can't answer that question, you can't hand out this money. If people go, well, $200,000 is not enough, then what the fuck's enough? And if you don't have an answer for that, you shouldn't even be entertaining this issue at all. Anyway, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.